Hi all, welcome to GAYU IAS&tech powered by Lady Cloud Solutions. In day 2, we are going to discuss about the Python data types. Here, I'm going to explain this like yesterday how we have discussed the variables. In the same way, we are going to discuss the data types with the example of a Smart 360 bank. Fellow who was a Rahul working in a junior data engineer in Smart 360 bank. Here, I'm going to discuss the same method here also in data types. Here, the Rahul just joined, as we all know that everything. Once again, I'm repeating this. Rahul just joined the Smart 360 bank as a junior data engineer. On his first day, he needs to understand how to store and manipulate different kinds of data that bank holds. That is, the bank, what type of data the bank is holding here is, one second, I'm typing here, type of data the bank is holding is like account numbers, which was an integers, and the second one are the customer names, which is in the form of strings, and the third one was the transaction records, which is in the form of lists. And the fourth one are the account details, which are in the form of dictionaries. Dictionaries. Here, dictionaries. Here I want to explain that in Python, everything is an object, and the object belongs to different data types. Here in Python, everything was an object, but this object belongs to different data types. Is it right? See here, checking like the account numbers. Here the account number object, it belongs to the which data types integers. In the same way, the customer names are the object. Here, these customer names look into which data types looks like strings. In the same way, transaction records looks like an list, and account details looks like a dictionaries. In the same way, we are going to derive the data types. Now, in Python, what are the data types? Here, data types tells the Python with what kind of value a variable holds. Here, the variable means customer name. For example, I'm saying in the above, I mentioned that in second point, customer names. It is the variable name. Customer name is a variable. It holds and what operations can be performed on it. Once again, I'm going to repeat that in data types tells the Python what kind of value a variable holds and what operations can be performed on it. Here, the customer names, it is holding the names. For example, the customer name I have given as an Shiva, it was holding the string data type. That was the Python data types. Here, for example, here only in this example only, at the Smart 360 Bank, Rahul will work with many data types like numbers, text, lists of transactions, sets of unique customers, and dictionaries, mapping account IDs to account holders. So in data types, here in Python, it is having several built-in data types. We need to master it. Several built-in data types. Here, no need to derive the data types. We are in the inbuilt only. In Python, it was having the data types. Here, the first look. Here, the types of the data types. You will go into the each and every one. Here, the first data type was numeric data type. That is, in numeric data types, we are having int, comma, float, comma, complex. We are having in this three data types in numeric data types. Here, for example, I'm explaining through a bank, a smart bank 360. Here, for the first task is the manager has assigned a task to the Rahul. That is we have to store the account balances and interest rates. What the first task was? You have to store the account balances. Here, manager has given the task to Rahul, that is how to store the account balances and interest rates. How we are going to do this? We just have a look on this. How we are going to do here. Let me take one new code cell here. See, here I'm writing the program. What the manager has assigned, manager has given the task to Rahul, that is how to store the account balances and their interest rates. Here, first Rahul have to store the values. Here, first Rahul has to store the values. What are those values? Account number, account underscore number. We have already explained about this naming the variables, right? Yesterday we have discussed this. That's why I'm not discussing today here. Account number. Here the account number is some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the account number. And again, what the manager said, that we have to store the interest rates also. See how here the balance actually the balance will be like somewhat like this 0.7 and complex equals to 3 plus 6. So here we will see the data types. What are these data types? Here I'm commenting here. The account number looks like an integer. Like here we are going the data type as an integer. While seeing this balance, we may notice that the balance looks like in float, which is having the decimals up to 2 points. And here in complex example, it is a complex data type. Looks like a complex data type. Just it is only the purpose for demo only. We won't use here later, but it is one of the data type complex example. Now I'm going to print this. Printing the data type. To print the data type, what type of data type to print? What we are going to use here? Type function. So here type of, what is the variable name? Account number. This is the type. Now let me run this. What is the type of the account number? As I said here, the integer, the same way it will be coming here. 1 second. Let me check this. See, while running this, we are getting the output as class int. Now I'm going to execute, going to print the remaining two. That is print. Now we want to check the type of what the variable balance. Type of the balance we want to check that. Now I will run again this. We will get like, see here, the type of balance is float. As I mentioned that here, the type is float. And the third one, print of type function. Type gives the type of data. Which type of data is. So here, which variable we have to check? The variable here is complex. Here I am giving, sorry, I begin the script. Complex exam. Now I'm going to run this one also. See what? See here, the first one for the account number, the class type was integer, int. And the second for the balance, the type was float. And the third for the complex example is the type was complex. These are the three types in the numeric that are typed in the numeric data types. And the third one, let me take one and another more code cell, new code cell. And here the second one, second data type we are going to discuss is sequence data types. Sequence data types. Here in the sequence data types, we are having like string. See, here what we need to do is in the same example, Smart 360, Rahul needs to handle the sequence of data. Here he has to handle the sequence of the data. So I am taking one more example here. Let me comment this one. I'm writing a program here to discuss the strings. About the data typing sequence, we are having data types like a strings, list, and tuples. First, we are going to discuss about the strings. Here, I am typing here. Here, in sequence, we are having three different data types. Those are strings, list, tuples. First, we are going to discuss both the strings here. Let me write a program and then we'll discuss here. Here in this strings, Rahul wants to use the names, address, and descriptions. Here, what he wants to use? He wants to use the customer details of name, address, and description. So I'm writing a program here. Customer variable name, customer name equals to Siva. Now I want to print the customer name, and later I want to give the index. See how I want to print the customer name. This is the string. It gives the string name. See, customer, the variable we are assigning is Siva. That we are giving the Siva. It is in the form of data type, string data type. Now we can find the indexes also. See how we can find the indexes. Okay, let me comment this. We can find the indexes for this string value. How? Here print of customer name. Customer name. Here the square box. In the square box, we are giving the value. Here the Siva. In the string, the value Siva is having the 4. So S is like here I'm giving here we have to start everything with 0, whole number 0, 1, 2, 3. So in Siva we are having the 4 value. We are having the count of 4. So I'm giving the one count like a 3. See, we'll print this. What we'll get the output. Let's see. We have printed this. So the output is by giving the count as 3. the output gets the value A. In this way, we can find the indexes also. And also, we can find, like in this also, we can find print of customer name, customer name minus 1. Can anybody guess what we will get to here? Now now I run this program. See what the output is getting. Can anybody guess the output? Yeah. Here, whenever we are using the -1, we'll get the last character here. That is, we are going to get the last character here. This might be the one of the interview question for the fresher. This might be the interview question for the fresher. So these okay, note of this. Here in the sequence data types, we have in sequence data types, we are having the three data types. One was the string, and the other one is the list, and the third one is the tuple. As of now, we have discussed about the string one. Here, and next we are going to discuss about the. Let me take on new cell. Here we are discussing about the list. So I'm commenting, and then second data type was list. See, here Rahul wants to store and multiple the transactions or multiple accounts. List. Here the purpose of the list is to store the multiple times. So here for in the bank, in smart bank example, we are going to store the multiple transactions or the multiple accounts. So here I'm writing a program here. See, the case was Rahul wants to store the multiple transactions and multiple accounts. I am writing here the program. Here I am giving the variable as transactions equals to. While listing, there is a one rule that we have to start everything with the square brackets. While this always be denoted with the square brackets. That is here 100 comma minus 50 comma 200 comma minus 10. I'm assigning the values. These what are those values? These are the credits and debits of the account number. These are the transactions. That is, I'm commenting here. What are those values? These values are debit and credit. Okay. Now I want to print these transactions. Now I print of transactions. What it will give? It will give the list. See, I got an error. Why I got an error? See here, here the transaction name, the variable name, what I have given here, I have given wrong. So let's copy these transactions and paste here. And run again. See, we got the list. So 100 minus 50, 200 minus 10. Now I want to print the indexes. Print of these transactions 2. What is the output here? Can anybody guess here? No. Let's run this. the output is 200. Here, the indices value for 100 is 0, and the indices value for the minus 50 is 1, and the 200, the indices value is 200. Indices value is 2. So here in transaction, we have in the output, we are going to print about the indices value of 2 transactions of indices 2. So we are getting the output as 200. And this was the list. Now we are going to discuss, let me take one more code cell. And here the third one we are going to discuss was the tuple. Here in this list, this was the main interview question, that lists are mutable. That is, we can change the list. See, if anybody asks that, what about this in Python, you have to say that the lists are mutable, that we can change the list values. Whatever we are assigning to that variable value, we can change it. Whereas coming to the tuples are not here. Tuples are immutable. Immutable. Once assigned, we can't change their values. These are immutable. Now, coming to the same example here, tuple. These are the immutable sequences. As we discussed here. So here in the Rahul wants to store it is used for the purpose of storing the fixed data like coordinates or fixed customer records. Here, what in banking sector, with the purpose of the tuple in banking sector was to storing the fixed data like coordinates and or fixed customer records. This was the purpose over here to store the fixed data like coordinates, other fixed records. Let's see. Let's write in a program, one program, and simulate this how we can change and we'll see. Let's comment these two lines. And here I'm giving the variable name as account details. Account details. Here I'm writing yes. Still I'm giving star. And the account number I'm giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what type of this account? Here I'm writing a 6. Now I'm going to enter account details. We will see what the output is. It is going to print whatever the values we have given here, it is going to print. So let me check why I'm getting here error. See here, the account number was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Here, in the same way, I want to print the ring by using the indices method. Here, this is the indices method, or like indices method, account details. To find the indices, we have to give the square brackets. Now I'm going to run this. What we are going to get? We are going to get the account details here. We are getting the like otherwise I'm going to give 0. What the output we are getting? We are getting the output as Shiva. Or I want to give the indices value 2. What the output will be? The output will be savings. 1 second guys. Let me answer this call. Sorry guys, yes, it is an important course, so that's why. Okay. Now, after running this, we are getting the output as an as savings. And like this way, we can't change this to course. No, these are the sequence data types. Now we are going to learn about the third one, that is a Boolean data type. Third data type was Boolean data types. Here, the Boolean data types here is, for example, is in the same example, house map branch. The house code checks if a transaction is successful or not. Here, we want to check here. Here, we want to check the checks if our transactions is successful or not. Here, true or false conditions only this Boolean type was using. That is the Boolean data type was used in the true or false conditions only. Let me write a code you can understand here. Forget about all these if conditions, the condition statements, we will discuss later. So let me write let me write a code for these transactions, which were the transactions were successful or not. Here transaction here in SACD and ON transaction successful. The transaction successful is true. The transaction successful is true. Now print the type of transaction successful. Transaction print the type of transaction successful. Here, let me run this code. What you will get here, the output. So I'm getting an error here. Why I'm getting? I have not given a comment here. So that's why I'm getting an error. Now let's check. Again, I'm getting an error here because why I'm getting an error here? Transaction successful. Now let me run this again. See. Here, the T is in a case sensitive. So uppercase we have to give. See here, what was the type here? The transaction successful. True. Here, one successful here. That for if the transaction was failed, then what we have to print? Again, if transaction successful, print transaction completed. Print transaction if failed, then what we are going to write here? In place of if, we are writing else. Now print transaction failed. Transaction failed. Now I want to run this. Now let me run this. Again here I'm getting an error. Why? I'm not given a quotation. It's already inbuilt. It will be in string formatting. So that's why I'm getting an error. See. Transaction. If the transaction was, if I given the transaction as failed, false, what will be the expected output? the transaction failed. In this way, the Boolean data types were used here. And the second and the fourth one we are going to use here the set data types. Here the set we are using for to eradicate the duplicates to get the unique QIDs and make indicators. In this case, in this Markdown 360, here we use as a set data type to get the unique customer IDs to get like unique customer IDs who made the transactions. Now let me write here. Let me take in a new code cell. Here I'm commenting this. Let's go through the set data type. Set data types. Here, what Rahul wants to do is Rahul uses this set data types to get the unique customer IDs and customer IDs who made transactions. Who made the transactions? Here, the purpose of set data types is to eradicate to eradicate the duplicates. That is giving the unique to values. Here, how you check? Let's write in a program and check here. Please see this. Here, I'm giving a customer IDs as a variable name. Customer IDs as a variable name, that is. Here, I'm using the data type as set. Whenever we are going to use the set, we do any functions like this and how to open here, like in a list. What we are going to use in list? Sorry, like in a tuple, we are used to open this bracket. We used to brackets like spare brackets. So here we are going to give 101, comma, 102, comma, 103, comma, 101, comma, 102. Now let me print this one. Print customer notice. Now let's get this. What we are getting? Yes. See here what we are getting. See in this set we are having how many values? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we got only 3. Here 101 and the 102 are repeated again. So what the set has done here? The set has removed the duplicates. So I'm commenting here. It will remove the duplicate. What the set has done here? The set done here, it removes the duplicates. For the freshers, might be a question, interview question. So make a note of this and practices more on this. And after this, now for first ID in customer IDs. Print first ID. Now let's run what the output is. See, the ID is 101, 102, 103. See, giving the without duplicates in vertical way. Here in the upper case, you get the horizontal. By using this, we are getting the vertical way. Now, after completion of this set data type, now we are going to discuss about the dictionary data type. Dictionary data type. dictionary data type. And let me comment this. Data type. Here the dictionary data types is to store the key value base. Here in this example, like the account numbers or customer names, etc. So here the purpose was to store the key value base, like account number, phone number, a customer names, customer name. Let's see by writing an example. Here, the return variable name as accounts given here. I'm writing a program. Here, the dictionary always starts with the curly brackets. For the tuples, square brackets. Okay? No. No, account number I will given as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, the account number holds customer name as Shiva. Here, always a Shiva must be the design string. That's why we are doing the comma. And the other customer account number is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the account, then the customer name is Naga. So there should be a notes. Now I want to print of accounts. Here I want to print the account number Siva. Like so, account number is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let me run this. What will get? Let's. Why I'm getting here an error? Can anybody guess where? Accounts. Right. Sure. Series. Okay, while running this program, you get the output as Shiva. Now I want to print about the Naga customer name Naga. Here the account number was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, these dictionary data types are mainly used in see the output was Naga. The purpose of using the dictionary data types are to print to store the key value pairs. Mainly in the, as a data engineer, you'll be using the JSON format. Mainly these are used for the JSON format. As a data engineer, you are going to use this in JSON format. This is the interview, might be an interview question. Please know who can of this. Okay, there might be a question between differences between the list tuple, or else what was the differences between the dictionary or a tuple, how we are going to write the program using the dictionary data types or like a tuple data types. That way, there might be an interview questions like this. They can ask you like this. Okay, these are about the dictionary data types. Now let's practice about this here. Here, Rahul got an assignment like a assignment task here. The first task was I'm writing here. The manager has given a Rahul a task. The first task to the Rahul here is till now we have learned about the data types. Based on these data types, we are now practicing the real world tasks. Here, the first task assignment to the Rahul was the store Let me comment this one. This is the practical tasks. Here. The task one was store and print Rahul basic info. Here, what is the first task? Here, you have to store and print the Rahul's basic information. In place of Rahul's, take your name as a basic information. Can anybody explain me that what we are going to write here the program? No. Let me write. Here I'm giving that like a hint. Here the hint was use variables with appropriate data types for Rahul's name, age, account balances, and whether the account is whether the account is active. Now we are going to write here program. Here the variable, first variable, what we have to use, the name. Right? So the variable name is name. Name always being the which data type? String data type. So here I'm giving the Shiva. Or else here we are mentioned as Rahul, right? So that's why we are giving the name as Rahul. And the other variable name was age. Age is always being what? In integer type. So here I'm giving the age as 20. Next one, what we have to check here, the balance, account balances. So balance. Here the balance always be in which? In float with two decimals. Like I'm giving the balance as 500.75. And after this, we have to check the account active. Here the account active I'm giving is equals to. Now I want to print this. Print name, comma, age, comma, balance, comma, account, active. Now what we are going to print here? See, let's see the output what we are going to get here. See what we get this here? The name as Rahul and his age was 21 and his balance was 500.75 and 2. Here in this way we can also check the types also. Here we can also check which data type here. For the Rahul, which the type, you have to give the type of name. So it will give the type of name that it is either it is a string or float or integer. In this way we can, this is the first task assigned to the Rahul. What was the first task? Here, store and print the Rahul's basic information. Okay, let me take the another new code cell. Here, the second task. Here, the second task was to Rahul is create a list of transactions and print the list transactions. Can anybody guess how to write this here? What we are going to use here? Create a list of transactions and print the list of transactions. Here I'm going to type here the task was create a list of transactions and print the last transactions. Last transaction. Which data types we are going to use here? Here, I'm giving transaction as a variable name and I am using the tuple here because transactions are immutable. everywhere for every person, every customers, the transactions are immutable. So we can't change these transactions value. So we are starting with the tuple. We are using the data type as tuple. Here I'm going to add 1,000. I have deposited the 1,000, and later I have taken withdrawn 200. And after that, I have again deposited 300 and taken 100. Done withdrawn the 100. Now I want to print these transactions. Now, what I want to do is, now here we have to list the transactions and print the last transactions. Here I'm going to deposit this. I want to deposit one more. So to deposit this, I am using here as transactions dot append dot append here dot append. Here the append function is used to add the new value to the tuple. So here I'm adding 500. So let's see what we are going to get. So everything was right. Now I want to print transactions of -1. Here the -1 what we are getting, the last transaction we are getting. So let me run this one, what we are getting. So here I'm getting the transactions, transactions, transaction. Let me run this. Again, I'm getting here. Why I'm getting here? What was the last one? It is the -1. Okay. We are getting the last transaction, that is the minus. This way, we are, what was the task here? Create a list of transactions and print the last transaction. Here, with the use of tuple data type, we can write the programming that I'm giving the variable name as a transactions and assigning the tuple values like 1,000, -200, 300, and -100. And later on, I want to deposit the 500. So I deposit that new deposit by using the append function. Now I want to print the last transaction. Here the last transaction in the tuple was -100. So I have given the -1. This is a challenge. There is any homework to do. Here there is I'm giving an homework for you. So let me check in a code, taken a question. Here the homework was yes, Rahul wants to keep a track of unique to customer IDs who visited the bank today. See, this is the here the hint was create a set from a list with duplicates and print the unique IDs. This is the homework for one question, and the other second question was Rahul needs a dictionary to map account numbers to balances, then he should update the balance for a specific account. This is the challenge. What was the challenge to here? What was the homework here? Rahul needs a dictionary to map account numbers to balances. Then he should update the balance for a specific amount. Right? This is the homework for you. Now, let me take one more new course cell here. Here I'm assigning a task for you. Here I'm giving the another project that is a healthcare sector project. Here this project tells that the patient's data management system. Here the overview of the project is you are a part of a development team tasked with building a patient data management system for hospital. The system will store and process the patient's information. Here, the patient's information like personal data, health metrics, medical history, and appointments. Here, the first phase involves handling basic patient's data using Python variables and data types. Here, whatever we have discussed, the topics I have given a one more project that the project one more project in a different sector. The sector was in a healthcare. Here, you are holding the patient's information like patient information like the personal details, health metrics, medical history, and appointments. Here, the project requirements here we need is store the patient details like name, age, gender, blood group, track the health metrics, weight, height, and temperature, and record the medical conditions of the customer of the patients, and handle the appointment scheduling of the appointment, and later billing systems. Here, what you are learning is that you have to practice as the variable declarations for different patient details, but with the various data types. We have discussed the different data types, sequence, tuple, list, like numeric different data types you have to. So you have to discuss that. You have to practice this one, and also you have to note the challenges what you are facing before while practicing, and make a note of this and try to solve them. If you can't solve that, try to ask me in the class. I will tell you or I will teach you. So no need to worry. Please practice as this. Whatever I have discussed in the banking sector, the same thing I have given in the different sector. The same way I have given the different sector. Please practice those things. Here the tasks are. Here see different tasks I have provided. Here the first one. Here the task will look like in a Jira. In real-time projects, all your tasks will be getting in assignments like Jira from like Jira tickets. So in that way manner only I have given these tasks also. Please make a note of this. Here, the first task was declare the variables for patients. Patient's full name, age, gender, blood group, and the scenario is the patient registration form. You have to register patient registration form. In the same way, I have given up to I think 20 tasks I have given. Please make a note of this. Try to execute this task, and try to solve this. If anyone did not get to solve this task, please ask me or ping me. I'll give. I will try to explain you all this where you are facing the problems. So have a nice day. Bye bye. Thank you. That's it for today.